Hey everybody, it's Kathryn. We are starting soon. Hey Gail, hi. Can you hear me okay? I've got my video off. Hang on just a second. Oh, okay. I see Namandi got on. Hello. And I see Sandra coming on. And let's see if y'all, it looks like I can see me. Hang on one second. I'm glad we're doing this all before the call. Just a minute. So I can try and see myself and see what I'm doing here. I can't see everybody. Oh, here I am, top of my head. I'm still putzing around with my lighting and stuff so you don't get distracted by the bad food I eat. So let me turn some lights on and get some things adjusted. I'm still putzing a bit. We have about 9 minutes before the call. So I'm going to turn off my video, but you're absolutely in the right place at the right time. I did send an email out, maybe too many ways, but there is an AWeber list, but I also sent a direct email out via my Gmail account, but also in the chat bar, I put the link right in the chat there for where you can access everything that I'm going to be talking about today. So maybe a little overkill, but I'd rather do too much than not enough and make sure you get everything. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself again, and I'm going to turn off my camera. Okay, so just a second here if it'll let me. Come on now. I'll be right back. Everybody, I'm not on yet. You're not missing anything. Hello. We've got about 5 minutes. There we go. So can you hear me now, Sandra? Because I was doing some work there. There we go. Yeah, I'm still putzing around a bit and just kind of getting some things handled. But you are in the right place at the right time. And I'm curious, is my PowerPoint showing that is the, tell me in the chat bar if the handout where you see my glamorous, intense picture there with the purple image, is that there? Do you see that? Okay, great. All righty. And so there's that, but then I did put in the chat bar where you can access the other documents. We're going to do this a little differently. I don't have a fancy presentation made today. I want this to be a little more organic and to where we're more present to each other. And I've got a couple of calls coming in where people are asking at the last second, and I want to make sure that I accommodate them. So I'm going to be sending out some emails, and I have no way to play hold music, guys. So I'm very sorry, but once again, you're in the right place. I just want to make sure that I am getting information to people. So 1 second. Okay. It's supposed to do this automatically through PayPal, the miracle of online marketing, right? But we know what happens instead. So let me forward this. And this always happens. There's always those people that they're waiting and they register like 5 minutes in and or right at the call, and then they're going, I can't get in, where are you? And I get all these text messages. So but it's just me. I don't have a big team. Let's see, we've got 3 more minutes. Let's see how we do. And I think, we had several people register, but a lot said that they couldn't be on the call today just because, it's Saturday. This is when I usually get stuff done. But let's see here. Let me start my video. All right. Make sure I don't have hair standing out. I need you guys to let me know if suddenly my hair does this. Do we have a deal? Like if suddenly my hair goes left or right or something, y'all will point out to me what we've got going on. Okay. So, thumbnail. I don't like this to where it shows everybody necessarily. Let's see. Trying to make sure I get into the right spot here. Okay. And all right, I'm so sorry. I'm still seeing some messages pop through. We still got another couple of minutes. I'm going to grab a quick drink. Okay. Do you like my ladylike, my giant ladylike drink here? I don't know, if I put them in glasses, I lose track, but if I have it in my bottle, I'm able to keep track. So you're just going to have to watch me slug it out here. Okay, so I'm going to say yes. And I emailed. Yes, I emailed everything from my Big Vision Coach at Gmail account to you. Plus, you should be getting something from Connect at the Big Vision Coach. But we are on, baby. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so now she knows where to look for it. We are on time, so the recording has already started. Welcome, 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 and to the Reclaiming Your True Power webinar. And this is, the idea behind this, and it's kind of built in the subtext there, how to transform your health, relationships, career, and finances by connecting to your magical, weirdly wonderful, wise, and brilliant divine self. And if you've got your handout, if you were able to get that ahead of time, or you have it now, do me a favor and in the chat bar, just say I got it. That just helps me kind of know where we are and that type of thing. And we're going to be having some people kind of who are logging in a little late. So I'm kind of stretching out this beginning here. Okay, got it. Awesome. So now let me, I'm going to do a new share on the video because I have I'm going to share this. And this is, I want to do a little quick tour of my Google Drive, my beautiful, messy Google Drive. Okay. And what I have here in the Google Drive that's on, I tried to do this so many ways. One, I wanted to make sure that you could see, you know, you had a page where this information lived. Then I have the Google Drive is where everything's stored, and you can download it directly. So in here, you'll see that I have the handout. I have a couple of the images that I used. I'm going to be referring to the amazing Desiderata. I have the full poem there. I have another little handout that is the actual scripture that I'm going to be referring to when I talk about another point. And then, I don't know, is this okay, guys, if I over deliver a little bit? But I wanted to share with you a call from the Jedi Wealth Mastery program that I did with the Sarah Lovejoy that we just completed like back in February. And we're about to launch it again. I believe it's sometime mid-April. But this call was so powerful about these different aspects of self, and this kind of is a little deeper teaching than what we did there. So bear with me one more second, and I'm going to check the chat. All right. And then, yeah, paid nominee. Thank you, Namandi. I appreciate that. So we'll make sure you get that. In 1 second, I'm getting a message from Rhonda's got it. Okay, now let's see if Verena got it. Woohoo! Okay, so so I'm telling her to check her email. Thank you guys for your patience. I appreciate it. And I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm just trying to make sure we get everybody all on board here. And let me, yep, Verena got it. Okay, so we got that sent there. So it makes you kind of go through this, you know, doing that. So I wanted to do this in a way that you could access it, but I wanted it to be more immediate, because what will happen a lot of times in these calls is that we wind up kind of hiding behind the slides, right? Yeah, and then there's the voice, right? Or I become the talking head. And I really didn't want to do that. I really wanted to have something that was a little more interactive and that we were present to each other. So let me get back over to the main thing that we're sharing. Okay, is the PowerPoint showing again? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. So I always have an intention in what it is that I want to teach you, right? And I have this desire, and there's a saying in giving talks where they go, hey, there's the talk you wanted to give, there's the talk you gave, and then there's the one you wish you gave. And I have an outline. I have a really powerful intention to meet you from a really powerful place, and to meet the master in you and hold that space to the degree that it wakes up and turns on that brilliant eternal part of you that keeps knocking at your unconscious, that keeps pulling at your heart, that keeps you dissatisfied, that kicks your butt, it's tugging on your ear, that is not letting you go, that itch that just won't go away while you are going through struggle or doubt, or you keep trying, or when you run away, or when you fail, or you go, you know, I just want to be normal. Could I just like stop all of this stuff and be a normal? I don't know what normal is, right? But I remember having that desire to go, you know, God, screw all this. I don't care if there's supposed to be some great message. I don't care about these gifts. I don't care about my big purpose. I just want to be able to get up and go through the day, and at the end of the day, you know, doing my best, and at the end of the day, knowing that I did my best and be able to sleep at night. I want to be able to be a good mom. I want to be able to advance as an employee. I want to be able to be a good person. I want to be a good daughter. I want to be able to have a relationship with my family where I don't feel like a stranger, right? I don't want to walk around this world feeling like a stranger anymore, or weird. I can't do that anymore, God. Just take all this special uniqueness stuff away and just let me feel love. I don't know, does any of that resonate with you? But I went through that. And it wouldn't let me go. And when I was going through this one period where I got really rebellious, I just wanted to run away. I had really just gone through this big explosion of my psychic and spiritual gifts, waking up and having incredible experiences, like things I didn't know was possible, right? And I didn't know I was going to tell you this, but I needed to tell you this today. And then everything that I thought I was doing fell apart. Everything I thought I was supposed to be fell apart. And I didn't realize I had been building all this stuff that was supposed to be my greatness and my goodness from fear, from doubt, from maybe even a little, well, I'm going to say little. When I say little, I mean like, you know, an ocean's worth, you know, that ocean's worth that's in a teaspoon, that much, right? Shame. I was trying to build up something bigger, and then it collapsed, and it caused me to just lose all my faith in myself and in God and purpose and mission. And that's when I started crying out that I just want to be normal. Just let me be normal again. Let me go back to forgetfulness. But weird things kept happening. I kept having conversations with people, and these experiences just started popping up. And I mean, just too many stories, because once that divine part was awakened, it would not go back to sleep, no matter how much I wanted it to. I have a feeling that you had a big awakening. If you're on this call and you're drawn to the work that I'm doing, you had a big awakening. You had that moment where you realized that everything you built your life on was not the truth. Everything that you had been told about who you are is not the truth. And that you got to catch a glimpse of this part of you that was always there. But then something happened, and it caused you to lose faith in yourself, or your woundedness showed up. I don't know what happened, but it caused you to pull back, and it brought you back to the edge of forgetfulness, and where it put you was at struggle. And what we're doing today is we want to move out of that place of struggle, back out of forgetfulness, into remembering the truth of who we are. And then from that inner relationship, get information on how to take action. Does that sound good? Is that what you signed up for? If it is, let me know. Is that what you signed up for? What am I saying? Is this resonating with you? If it does, say yes. If not, go, Kathryn, I have no idea, but I'm going to hang out anyway. Just let me know. Let me copy this address. Hang on. 1 second here. We got people still saying, Kathryn, I want it. I want it. So just a minute. And I want to see what that brought up for you. Come on, paste. Trying to operate with our phone here. Please. There we go. All right. So I apologize. And let me get her email. All right. I'm very sorry, guys. Thank you for your patience on this. Darn. There. I'm sorry, my phone suddenly, of course this is happening, and I apologize that it's happening on the call. Okay, I have to jump. Let me jump off over here one quick second, and I'm going to, all right. She's just gonna have to, I'm just gonna hope that Yahoo does its job. I can't move over to this right now. So I want to check the chat. I want to see what all that brought up for you, what I was saying. Okay. All righty. Yeah, this resonates. Not sure, but I can't chat with everyone but you. Okay, so that's okay. Someone says, I just want my mind to be quiet. Y'all saying this resonates. Sandra, this, you know, you're feeling it, right? So here's how it works with me when we're doing this program. When I do, you probably figured this out. That anytime we do a program, there's something that happens when we get together in consciousness, and there's this intention. Like we have all these different parts, we have our intention, and all of us coming together makes a new thing. We together, even though I'm holding my intention and I have this space, together we are co-creating something that is unique and it's never existed before, and it's no accident about the particular group of people who decided to be on this call, that heard that call. Okay, no mistake at all. This is us not only doing our work, but doing the work for other people on the planet, because that's the level you guys play with. And if you are seeing me jump over to Facebook right quick, you caught me. But I just want to make sure that we get everyone in. All right. All right, so we are making something new. And these beautiful, beautiful people. I so appreciate everybody. Just hold the space right now in your heart, align to the space, to everybody who joined in today, and that they're trying to get on, and that it's absolutely successful. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you a little story about my granddaughter Maddie when she was smaller. She was probably 5 or 6, and I was working a lot from home and was doing all these calls. So I would go in and, you know, check on her every hour on the hour, say, how are we doing? What's happening? Do you need anything? No, Nana, we're fine. It's all good. Here we are. And, you know, and then I'd go back to work. And then I'd check on her, I'd give her lunch, you know, and then usually I'd done 4 or 5, we'd go play, we'd go to the pool or whatever. And one day I went to go check on her, and we were in a new house, and we have a new decorated bedroom and everything. Like we had a little desk for her to draw at. We had her TV. I mean, it was all pink and purple. We were so proud of this room. And it was just, everything was new in it, which was kind of unusual for us. But every single thing was new. And I go in the room and she has a mesh back office chair where she had cut with her little scissors 2 jaggy holes that look kind of like this. And if you can imagine being a grandmother and you go in and then you see this room you work really, really hard on, and I freaked out. I was not in my beautiful, lovely, grandmotherly self. I was like, holy cow, which was not even, that's a much nicer version of the words that I used to. But holy cow, what the heck did you do? This is a new chair. What were you thinking? And she's like, well, I wanted to lay on bed and watch the TV, but the chair was in the way. So instead of just rolling the chair out of the way, what'd she do? She figured it out, right? So what was happening? She's a little older, and now the level of destruction gets a little more expensive, right? That's why we get worried about our teenagers, but that's why we get worried about us, right? We get a little older and our fails are a little more expensive. We're not quite as bouncy. So what do? We actually take less action, right? And so she's off, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, I've got to get on a call, whatever. Let's just go. And you know, and then at the end of the day, you know, I'm like, it's time to give her a little snack. And we sit down. She says, Nana, I'm really sorry about that chair. And I said, you know, honey, it's just a chair. You know, I said, I'm really disappointed because I guess I had this idea about what I was making for you, right? But, you know, you're just a kid, and I'm a grown up, and you're a little kid, and we're just figuring it out. But what you don't know is that, you know, as a grandmother, there's things I know about you that you don't know. And we happen to have some walnuts on the table. And I said, you see these walnuts? And in this walnut is contained the whole tree. Every single thing is contained within this walnut right here. Everything that would take for this to grow up. But what we can't see, even beyond the tree, is all the good that's going to come from this walnut. We don't know if it's going to be like, you know, just a beautiful oak tree someplace, and, you know, be the squirrels and the birds, and give shade and oxygen to the earth, you know, just add to the beauty. We don't know if, you know, someday a family will come and have an amazing day and play under the branches. Now, we don't know what this could do. And we don't know if maybe this tree is one day will, you know, become furniture. Like what we, you know, this walnut makes oak, and that oak makes like the table that we're sitting at. We don't know. And think about all the conversations that we had here at this table, all the meals, all the time we laughed, all the time we sat together, and maybe we held hands, and then I reminded her of stuff. And she's like, yeah. So I said, we can't know. But did you know inside this walnut, all that potential, all that possibility is there too? It's more than just the tree. And I said, I'm your grandma, and I know about your potential. I know how smart you are already. I know about the family you came from. I know all of our stories. And I know that you're somebody completely new, and that you're going to grow up, and I know whatever you do is going to be amazing, because I see what a hard worker you are, and how you have such a great imagination, and how you really love to help people. And you even help me all the time. And she was a really wise kid. But what I can't know is all the greater good. But I have this big energy, and I have this big hope. And my job is not to teach you maybe how to be a great tree, but it's that other stuff that we can't know yet. So here's the thing. You're a little nut. I'm a little nut. We're a couple of nuts just figuring this thing out together. And ultimately, it's all going to be okay. And that's the thing with us. Right now, I'm holding this intention. There's for you. And I know where we're going to go. I know where you can go. I'm holding this big space for you. There's things I know based on my history with my clients. Maybe we've worked together one-on-one. But there's things I can't know until it's fully expressed. I only know that a greater good than what I could even imagine for you is going to happen. And that's the space we're holding today. Okay. This is the thing. And this idea, this little, we're a couple of nuts, we're just trying to figure it out. That's coming into this faith and confidence in yourself that no matter what you've been through or fear for the future, that ultimately you're going to be okay, that you are strong enough, you are smart enough, there is an intelligence there. You can make this happen. Okay, so good. I'm getting thank yous. Yeah, they got it. Okay, thank you. All right, so this is what we're doing. Here's what happens with people. Okay, so first, let me evolve back just a little bit. So one, we've got about an hour left together. We're going to add a little bit just because I had to putz around a bit with some people getting on. What's more important to me than making sure I get all this teaching in is that I take you through a process of meeting your divine self. Okay, that's number one and most important. And everything I'm telling you is about supporting that shift. Okay, so at some point we may dump all this paperwork and we just go right into process. Okay, because what we ultimately want is the shift. All right, here's the other thing. There is no selling on this webinar. You, in your act of faith, invested in today, and there's no upsell today, but when I send you the link to this and we'll do a follow-up, if you want to deepen your work, I'll let you know what that looks like. Is that fair enough? But no selling today. All right. So here's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's this thing called the split. If you have been on any of my calls, you have probably heard me say, the master in me greets the master in you. And in this space, let there only be love. You've heard that, right? That sounds beautiful, but what the heck am I actually talking about? Well, we all have these different aspects of self that, you know, we could call ego. Some of these aspects of ourself, because of trauma, because of loss, and because of emotional attachments, which we're going to talk about, get frozen or locked behind. And because it's unresolved, or it has a powerful intention to keep you safe, which everything is about keeping you safe, to keep you protected, to keep you in integrity. All things are actually designed to work together for your good, even your addictions, even your sabotaging behavior, even you being the biggest bitch or crook on the planet, in some weird way, is designed to keep you safe, because at our base, our human body is an animal, even though we have a greater intelligence and awareness. And it's all just strategies. But here's what keeps us frozen is we will judge and we keep ourselves separate. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Right now I'm in the dating world. Here's an example. Right now I'm in the dating world. And I get to have a lot of really interesting conversations with both men and women, because I'm just out making friends right now. And some are people I date, some are people go, hey, we're going to this, you know, singles mixer, you want to go? So I'm making all these great gal friends to go dancing and stuff. And it's so interesting because I always know which part of them is running the show. If it's the abused part, and you know who you've met because within 5 minutes of meeting you, they tell you. They let you know, oh, everybody is, right? You know, all these people out there are all women want, or all men want, and they tell you exactly who they are. They tell you through their words and their actions. They tell you through the energy that they're communicating. And I call that inner positioning. And you know which part it is. And so often when we are wanting to make a big change, we are not in alignment with the master part of us that knows what the big story is, why we want to do it, and the best way to do it. That's why I call my company Big Vision, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute, where this big idea came from. And so there's this tension that most people walk around in, and they're split out, and then they're trying to project in front of them this other aspect of being, but they always feel kind of fake. They never really quite own their successes. They're never able to quite get the information from their failures, or they kind of stay in this no man's land. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that structure is set up through emotional attachment, but then we're going to look at what that looks like in the pattern, okay? So we're walking around in these two selves, and you've had this experience where maybe you just had a horrible day, but you had to go to, like, let's say a business networking meeting, or you had to show up at work, or, you know, who knows. And then you get dressed up, you know, if there's men on the call, I apologize, but you know, we pull up our big girl panties and we go do the job, right? We put on that extra lipstick and we make sure our hair looks extra good or whatever. And then we go and everybody like is telling us, oh, wow, that was fantastic. You were great. You did such a good job. And there's that other part inside that goes, yeah, but you don't know what I went through, or if you could see the mess in my car, or if you knew, you know, thank you for listening to my advice about healthy eating, but what you don't know is I ate a pizza and a chocolate bar and, you know, drank a, you know, guzzled a, I don't know, 2 liters of something, right? You don't know the secret about me. I know this secret. And so what does that create? That creates this gap. And you're never really able to take in and receive, hey, yeah, you did a good work, that in spite of everything that you went through, you still showed up and you delivered. So 1, you can't receive it, but 2, you can't feel it and acknowledge it because you are yelling at yourself. Like I was yelling at Maddie, holy cannoli, right? But what was the difference in the 2 grandmothers? I was the same person, but I met her first from my ego of, we're making a perfect house. I'm working really hard for you. And you didn't appreciate everything it took to make this happen, right? That's the grandmother she met. That was the inner emotion. But what was the other grandmother? The one who was wise and holding that space. Luckily, a little kid loves both, right? But here's the thing is, most of us don't know how to love both. We don't understand what it is that we're trying to do. And we've covered some of this if you're part of the Big Vision Commanding Well Circle, which is free 2 times a month. We go into deep teaching. We covered that. Like, hey, you had this positive intention. You had this thing you were trying to do. Why are you not acknowledging that? And just realize that there was some learning there. Where is that grace and compassion? So I want you to think about a time that you really went above and beyond. You worked really hard to get there. And then when it happened, it still maybe didn't feel like nothing. You know, you couldn't just take it in. Now tune into that. What is coming up for you when I tell that story? And just be present to it right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, there's the part of you that maybe you were freaked out, you're angry, right? Maybe you were sad, maybe you were ashamed. I don't know how you met that story, met yourself in that old story before, but just notice it. Check in with me and let me know if you are able to come up with a memory based on what I'm telling you. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you think about that, just be present to it. Be present to the upset, the sadness, the anger, the shame, whatever you're experiencing. Keep breathing. Now, you're so used to running the entire story, but in asking you that, it's actually like a little meme, right? You could just say, oh yeah, the story about my dad, right? Story number 1233. That story. And just encapsulate it. Just let that little story run like a little movie. Okay? Just being present to it. Now, if I were to have you tell that story out loud, you would want me to know the entire context and why it mattered and what really happened. And then, very often, you might not even let me help you because the story has taken over. Okay? But right now, just watch the story. Watch the story. Be present to the story. Rewind it. Rewind it. Rewind it. There we go. Run it again. Run the whole story again. Run it faster. When it comes to the end, rewind it. Just as I've asked you to run it, rewind it, run it, rewind it. Think about that story now and tell me, is it the same or does it feel different or did it kind of disappear? Type in the chat bar. I want to just kind of get some feedback here. I see Carmen made it. Farina made it. Oh, hello, Singya. I'm so glad you made it too. Hello. And I'm still looking. There we go. Type into the chat bar what you noticed. Okay? What you noticed. Is the story the same or did it shift? Feels a little lighter. It shrunk. Story shrunk. Okay. Great. So as a little kid, or actually it helps me to know, okay, I was confused by what you meant by story. There's a story you tell yourself, like I'm telling a story about being lost or not heard, right? That there was something you needed, but you didn't get. Well, actually, let me rewind that. There's a time that, here I told a story about there's that time that you are having a terrible situation, right? There's all this stress, there's stuff going on, but you make yourself get up, you go out, you do the work, you show up, you get a result. People are like giving you praise, but you can't take it in because they don't know the true thing about you, right? And there's this thing, this feeling that we kind of live from. Very good. So Gail's saying less intensity. Yeah, realize Perfection versus loving is my conflict. Perfect. So Gail got a big aha. So just loving, perfection versus loving, right? So here's the thing. It helps to align to what you were trying to do. I have a saying that intention never fails. I'm going to write this. Rhonda always writes it out for me. Intention never fails. Okay? Our strategy may fail. The system may fail, the paradigm may shift, but our intention never fails. So think about what it is that you were wanting to accomplish and why. All right. Think about that. In telling the walnut story, well, what did I want to? I wanted to provide a beautiful home. And, you know, it was a big deal for my daughter and I to go find a house, and there's a big miracle story, and we had never owned our own home before, and we just set about making this home really beautiful, and then here come the little, 99-cent scissors on a $300 chair. Yeah, right. Why did I give her that chair? No, it wasn't 300, it was a $200 chair, but still it's too expensive for a little kid, right? Because what was my intention? I wanted to give her the best. I wanted to know that she was the best. Yeah. But did I act the best? No. Did the best part of me show up? No. But then what happened? When I aligned to her and my intention for her as a grandmother, what happened? The story with the walnut that I'd never told in my life. And never was able to teach her about it. And she today is about to turn 14, and she talks to me about that all the time. How much that meant to her, and how much she knew she could trust me, even when maybe I'm not lovely, right? So what was your intention? Does this help to have a grandma story, right? Because I'm kind of in that higher self, these different positioning. Yeah. Intention never fails, right? So we want to align you back to your intention. Now, emotional attachment is a psychological term, and we do get emotionally attached to our stories. We get emotionally attached to our addictions. We can get emotionally attached to a place or whatever circumstances, and that becomes our comfort zone. And our prime directive, I'm kind of giving a little thumbnail here, becomes to protect that attachment at all costs. We know about that. We live from that. But sometimes we don't realize kind of like where that came from or how it's showing up. And this is a borrowed slide, but this does make a difference in how we're progressing in the world, right? If we have these unresolved attachments, then this is how often they'll show up. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Kathryn's is the ambivalent attachment. I want this, but then there's that. I want that, but then there's this. And I kind of like go between the two. And the only thing that finally ever busts me out of it is to commit to doing work with clients. And I want to work with as many as possible, as quickly as possible. And this, I'm just telling y'all, a lot of times when I need to really bust through is the times that I run those little 15 and 20-minute specials, because it shifts my attention out of me and brings it back to my greater intention of being at service to people. Then I wind up getting realigned, and then all kinds of clarity comes. But I've got this thing where, I've really had trouble being all in. And, because I'm ambivalent, I wouldn't quite show up, or I wouldn't quite do the work, or there's procrastination, there's all this stuff. So I've got on the screen some of these. And one is, we have the example of secure attachment, which this all comes from actually development, the work done with babies attaching to their parents, but then we are looking at how this shows up in our adult life. So in our secure attachments, we know we're worthy of love and we're capable of getting the love we need. But this is also, we could replace that word love. Hey, I am worthy of success. I'm worthy of a good relationship. I'm worthy of my dreams coming true. And then the other is this, I'm capable of getting the love, the dreams, the relationship. I'm capable of learning. I'm going to tell you, probably the number one excuse I hear in my coaching program is, I'm not like you, Kathryn. I don't know how to learn technology. I don't know how to learn to sell my programs. I don't know how to learn to, do this, A, B, or C, right? So what are they speaking to? Their capability. So that tells me that they've got the avoidant. But we have this belief in capability. Then on this other dimension, our belief about them, others are willing and able to love me, right? So we walk around in this world, if we were in secure attachment, like, well, of course, if I'm going to put myself out there, there is absolutely going to be someone else who is willing to work with me, to love me, to be supportive of me. There's going to be a customer willing to buy from me. Do you see how this comes in, right? There's going to be a great job willing to hire me. And in our interpersonals, like, we will inadvertently train people to fail us. But if we're in this secure attachment, hey, we walk around in this confidence going, hey, I know I can count on you to be there for me, because you're meeting them from that internal position of, I know I can count on you because I can count on me, and you can count on me because I'm the kind of person, this is my core identity, is I'm someone who can be counted on. Now, the thing is, in other detachments, people can count on us, but usually it's in kind of it's an imbalanced way, codependent way. And I feel uncomfortable using these words because these are psychological words, and I'm not a trained therapist or psychologist, so I have to do a quotation mark around it because these are clinical terms, all right? But I want you to get the concept, okay? When we're in the avoidant attachment, which is another one of the games, we do these at different times, and it depends on the different aspects. Nobody is in one square box, okay? But you can catch yourself. So in the avoidant detachment, we have that I'm worthy of love, right? You go, oh yeah, baby. I've got a really good friend who abuses her body terribly, who does not, she smokes, she smokes pot all the time, she's grossly overweight, she's in toxic relationships, she's not living her dreams, she gets injured all the time. But you ask her and she'll go, yeah, to know me is to love me. Of course you would love me. But she walks around in this expectation and in this demand for people to love and accept her, even though she is not loving and accepting of herself. She is not good and kind to herself. So what happens in that gap is manipulation, pushing, a lot of guilt, shaming, all of this stuff, okay? And if you start talking to her about making changes, she doesn't feel capable. So I'm worthy of love. Oh yeah, I'm good, I'm it, right? And we kind of see that in the, kind of show up in the culture. It's like, yeah, I'm a big woman. You're going to love me no matter what. What's wrong with you that you don't love me, right? And then if a man, says, well, I'm a big guy, we go, we don't like big guys, right? I've just been noticing all this. So it's like, you love me, but screw you, right? That's in there. But so they're avoiding that thing of that self-care. I'm capable of getting what I want and need, but again, it's false mastery because they don't actually have the experience of it from an authentic place. And they walk around acting as if the whole world's stupid and that people are untrustworthy and you got to watch them. And so what they wind up doing is it's like, I'm going to screw you before you screw me, or I'm not going to commit to you, or I'm going to break whatever our agreements are. This shows up, okay, to some degree with this. When we're in that ambivalent, I'm not worthy of love, I feel flawed. Now, the difference in this between the other is I'm not good, but you are. The other is I'm in the avoidant, I'm better than you. Okay, in this one, you're better than me. So I'm not worthy. I'm not able to get the love I need without being angry or clingy. And so it's like, I don't want to be an angry, clingy person. I don't want to let them know. I don't want to be vulnerable, right? So you pull back. And then I'm not able to get the clients without maybe, like really just being there all the time, right? Notice this word love. Again, what did I say? It could be money, it could be relationships, it can be food, it could be career. You can take that word love, circle it, and replace it. And then actually test out for yourself what feels true for you. Okay? I want to say too, if you want to know what your beliefs are, look at your reality. That's how you're going to know. But often we're looking through this limited, small lens of the self through these negative attachments, okay? But moving on to the ambivalent. Hey, I'm capable, but I don't know. I don't want to do all that work. Yeah, I can do accounting. I mean, I want to tell you something. When I got involved with the SAR, Love, Joy, and the One Command, Commanding Wealth, I was an apartment manager. I worked budgets. I did spreadsheets. I collected money. I did all the accounting. I could balance and reconcile all the accounts. I, could figure percentages and prorates. And I mean, money savvy girl. But I did not balance my own checking account. And it was so bad. It was to the degree that I bounced an entire paycheck one time when I bought a soda, because it had to do with the sliding doors of direct deposit and direct, money going in, going out. And I did it that hour too soon. Lost an entire paycheck. Why wouldn't I know how to balance a flipping checkbook? I did this all the time. I got paid very well to it. I was avoiding it because of my flaws, because of my money programs, right? And then I may be abandoned. And abandonment is a big personal issue because of things growing up. And that was a big wound. And I realized how much opportunity I was abandoning. I was realizing how many great jobs I had abandoned, how many amazing relationships, how many hopes and dreams I abandoned. Are you getting triggered yet? Is this coming up for you? And then there's disorganized attachment. That whole, I'm not worthy of love. I'm unable to get what I want because others are unwilling, others are unable, others are abusive. I must have deserved it. And there must be something wrong with me. And I've got a couple of clients that they are walking around this, and this is the big factor. And then one was talking to me the other day, and she's like, Kathryn, I keep doing all this work. Why isn't anything changing? And I said, because of your attachment to this identity of being someone who was unworthy of love and unable to get the love that you needed and deserved. And you never committed to creating that for yourself. It's been hard for you to know how to let go of that. And the reason we don't is a pretty big reason. But I want you to take a breath. I'm going to take a breath because this is a lot to take in. If you're late coming in, I'm going to go over here. I want to show you that there is a Google folder that you got. And I do have this broken out in the chart here, right? So you get all of those, okay? All right, so I'm gonna take a little drink. Y'all take a drink. And I'm just curious if anyone is getting any ahas that they're starting to realize. Oh, someone had a eureka moment about the part. Oh, this is good. So I've got all these private messages, and so I don't feel comfortable with sharing. If I can share what you wrote, just say, go ahead, and I'll share it. But we are getting all kinds of like, I'm getting all these private messages of like, wow, I got it. I got it. So we want to be present to that, okay? So we have this part of us. There's the big grown-up outer self. Hey, we're out there doing business. We're doing our thing. And then we have that inner part. I'm going to jump over to this for a minute. Actually, I'm where I want to be. All right, big self, little self. All right, and we don't understand sometimes how it's driving it, but here's the thing I want you to get. So often, let's see how I'm going to say this. So often, we are given a gift or a clue very early in life, but we misinterpret it. And because we are seeing it through the lens of a certain level of consciousness, we ask the wrong questions about it. What we're doing is we're going to be present to that smaller part of you, to that idea of you, and be present so that we can raise the vibration so that a new level of awareness can come in. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So we had the Jedi Wealth Mastery teleseminar, and I've got the recording of the actual call in your Google Drive, and so that you could hear it. And we were talking about these principles. This is a little more in depth on that. Asara has a beautiful teaching around that. But, you know, an interesting thing happened during this presentation where Asara was just being so powerful. And the slide popped up, and it was her teaching in Japan, where Asara is a rock star in Japan, by the way. She's going there, I think, in June. They love her. I mean, when she goes, her calendar's booked out. She started to have to add days. People are filling up the classes to attend her. They love her, right? And then she popped up on the slide, and the slide, it showed her in at a heavier weight than she's normally comfortable at, and she's lost weight since. But she had this little like, oh, a little week of, you know, this happened, right? Yeah, I mean, there I am, right? And so, and everybody felt it, you know, and I've had people do that with me too, where they go, wow, Kathryn, you were so powerful helping that person, and then the minute you talked about yourself, you got weak. How many does that happen to? Like, if you're helping someone, you have a superpower. But then here comes the minute and a half at a networking meeting to describe what you do, or you have to, you know, ask for what you need or want, and you feel yourself feeling weird and uncomfortable. How many has that? If you resonate with that, give me just type, yeah, that's me in there, or yes. Yeah, we totally have had that, right? And so what was that? What was that about? Well, that's that little me, right? That's back to here. Okay, that attachment disorder. And I told a story in the class. I said, you know, I'm known as the big vision coach. And if you meet me, you know, I'm almost 5'11". I've been this height since I'm 12. Okay, when I'm in junior high, people are asking if I'm a teacher because I had to wear adult women's clothes to go to school. And so I was always like just too big for everything. And then I grow up and I'm progressing. I'm in the seminar business, and I'm a large lady for a variety of reasons. But for whatever reason there is, I do happen to believe that if someone has a gift, if they have something to share, if they have a dream, that whatever the level they're at that moment, it is their responsibility to pursue it. It is their responsibility to share that gift. It is their responsibility to keep moving forward at whatever degree that they're able to. This is a big driving principle in my life. Having said that, out teaching a lot, and a lot of lovely people, really sweet people, would come up. And one of them was even a manager for us. And she'd say, you know, I was having a conversation with someone, and they were asking, like, if you're a teacher of the one command, how can you be a teacher of the one command and be fat? I mean, you're so large, you have all that extra weight, you know. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, thank you. Get off stage, you old fat thing. Get off. You know, who do you think you are telling us what to do? You're fat. You have no brain or no value, right? Like, and my inner rebel, you scrappy girl wants to show up. Come here. You want to talk to me about come here. We'll have a conversation, right? No. I want to. I came up with fighters, right? But no, I was just like, and I had to learn to get neutral right away, because I had already addressed that in my first business success, which was as a hypnotherapist who successfully sold weight loss hypnosis programs, being 75 pounds overweight. Okay? I got that figured out, because it's not about me, it's about you. And what value can I bring? And my clients all lost weight. And the more I did the work, the thinner I got. Okay? So if I want to get strong, I do the work. If you want to get strong, you do the work. You get in service of the thing that you were born to do. Okay? To whatever degree you're able to do it. I can't even say that enough. But, you know, they'd always say stuff like that. And it kind of bothered me, though. It'd be like, why are you bringing this up? Are you trying to sabotage me? And it's like, I'm still going to get up there. They may just as well reinforce the stage. And I don't care if they have to haul me up with a hoist. I'm going to teach. Okay. And I'm going to do it in front of people. Because why? Because of the belief that I told you about earlier. To whatever degree I'm able to, I must. If I have a way to help people, I must. It's my main imperative. So I really didn't get over that, but it was still kind of bugging me, because now I want to go out and I want to be a speaker. And so what do? You start comparing yourself, and you go look at all the lady speakers who are very slender, very tight little bodies, and they all wear the jewel tone dresses, the sleeveless ones showing their perfect tanned arms. You know which ones I'm talking about. I'm sure there are heavy set women that are out doing great speaking careers, but the ones that I was seeing, because of my belief, right? The only ones I ever saw were the ones who were the perfect size too. And then what does the brain want to do? It wants to compare itself, right? So I go, okay, I'm capable of learning how to be a speaker. And so I'm just going to do it to whatever degree I'm able to. So we take training with James Malinchak. Great training, and we're paying for the masterminds, and we get to be at his house, and we're having these great conversations. And then he said something that I really finally got it. And it was, whatever you perceive to be your weakness is what you actually promote as your strength. That is your unique qualifier as a speaker. So for him, he was the youngest. But there's somebody else who's the oldest. There's somebody else who's the most of, and someone who's the least of, right? And he says, whatever it is, that's your unique selling position. And I was like, I'm going to be a big fat speaker, y'all. I'm going to be a big speaker. But wait, if you work with me, I've got a big vision. When I work with someone, I'm able to see things in a way where all the information comes out and I'm able to get clarity and the map and pull it out. And one of the fun things I do in my business is I get in a room with people and I go, tell me your dream. And I'm able to help them get clarity and pull out all the realistic working pieces and figure out where those gaps are, but also figure out where their superpower is. That's where being me works really great. So when I said, yeah, I'm going to be big, then I realized in that moment of declaration, how it was like, yeah, I'm going to be big. And then that little waver of shame. And then all of a sudden I was slammed back and I realized, and I remembered being 4, maybe 5 and being a kid, and it's late at night and, the kids will fall asleep in the car and, the parent picks up the kid and carries them in. So, all 3 girls and I'm the oldest and, mom picks up the little one and then my dad gets Diane, gets her in the arms. She's a year younger and carries her in and he's going to come back out for me. And he picks me up and he goes, oh, no, wake up. You're too big. Wake up. Wake up. Come on, wake up. And right then, all I wanted was just to be carried in his arms because I loved that. I loved that. And he never picked me up again after that. I never got carried in my dad's arms. My mom never picked me up again. And we all had that moment that we didn't get picked up. There was like that last time that you're never picked up again, right? But somehow I made this decision that I'm too big and that's bad. So I must be bad. I must not be good enough. And then I spent the rest of my life trying to be small enough, but my body kept betraying me and getting taller and taller. And all of a sudden, I realized what a gift that was and how I'd been living in these 2 places of here I've got this bigness, this greatness, there's things I got to do, there's ways my parents interacted with me that really advanced me and helped me. But then there's that other part that I didn't get my need met, and that created the gap, right? And so I'm living from this gap, and this is where most people are living, is in this gap. But then once I owned it and realized, yeah, I'm big, all of those times that people said, wow, you're big, wow, you're tall, wow, look at you, like, thank you. I don't know. Oh, hi. Oh, how's the weather up there? I don't know. But it didn't matter. So I was able to see it in another way. So we were able to, so what did I do? I came into a new awareness. I was able to see it, one, by owning it. But the moment I owned it, the gap, I became consciously aware of the gap. Okay. And then I made the decision to have a new belief and a new perception about what the meaning of that experience was. Okay? Is this helpful? Does this make sense on what I'm telling you? We all have that thing. So this is Richard Dawkins, or David Hawkins' power versus force chart. And it just kind of shows the difference in the different views of, like as we start coming into this new awareness. And so this is kind of like the back end, like this is kind of a ground of being for the teaching here. And that's the main reason that I'm showing it. But if you ever tune into this work, you'll learn that each level of consciousness and awareness, we learn to ask new questions and have new understanding. So we're walking around in these 2 states, okay? When we're in the smaller self, and I've broken it down to 3. I think if I spent more time, I feel like I could come up with 7, but for today, it's 3. So how most people are walking around is in this split. There's their wounded self, and then there's their idealized self. So we're going to just use the thing about weight. I don't, I don't know if anybody's dealing with that, but I think it's a pretty easy metaphor. But we could call this money too. We could call it relationships. We could call it trust or whatever. But we have this idea of our wounded self. Okay. Then we have the idealized self. So we could say, okay, if it were weight, I go, okay, so my wounded self, hey, it just as true if you're anorexic. My body is too small. I can't eat. If I eat, I'm, I don't under, I actually am not tuned into the thinking of anorexia, but there's a lot of fear and anxiety there. They want to disappear, right? This is a survival mechanism. Like, let's get down to 58 pounds and then I'll be safe. I'll be small enough and invisible enough that I'll be safe. Okay. That's an oversimplified view and it's probably incorrect, but I'm just going to use it as an example. Okay. But then we have the idealized self. Oh, I want to be an athlete. I want to be a movie star. I want to be a beautiful lady in a tight fitted jewel tone dress, right? Idealized self. And most people try to create from this place, but what's there is fear. And no matter what they do, that fear, that anxiety, that tension that causes them to either hold back, it freezes them, or they go into self-abuse some way. They start doing, everything becomes about assuaging and minimizing fear, but that idealized self is out there far away. Okay. The next level is when there's that unresolved part, and then there's what's called, I call the iconic self. The iconic self is the glamour part of you. And the iconic self could be, hey, when I was a youth, when I was 27 and I had the rock and bod. The iconic self could be, hey, when I was earning that six-figure and beyond income and I was single and I was rocking it and I was making every single thing happen, but then this life happened, right? We have that iconic idealized self, but also it's kind of what we put out to the world. But then we actually have this unresolved, isolated self. So what happens is we get frozen and we never really authentically show up for people. We don't get to grow, and our career, our income, everything stays at a certain level. In fact, when things start getting frozen, what happens? They start atrophy, get smaller. I've got an ice cube tray that I filled up at the start of summer and I haven't done anything with it. The other day I looked and all the ice was dissolved out of it. This happens. We start dissolving because of this detention. And the reason we have this unresolved, isolated self is if we move forward to that version of ourselves that we want to be, we will abandon that part of us. And we do not want to abandon it. We don't want to leave that part behind. Okay, so positive intention, right? But then freedom comes when we connect into the sacred child. And the sacred child is our magical self. And if anyone has ever been around a kid, you have seen the sacred child. And when they're usually at play, wise words pop out of your mouth, like, hey, here, come here, little Buddha, come sit next to me and just speak, and Maddie felt like that for me. Maddie actually was a big part of my healing after my mom died, and I was going through this big thyroid issue, and it was causing this anxiety, depression cycle, couldn't figure out what was going on. I'm trying to do all this body-mind stuff, but it didn't occur to me, hey, it could be my thyroid, right? And so I isolated more. And then one day we're in the car and she's like, Nana, you don't smile like you used to, and you don't have the same energy. I'm going to be your coach. I want to help you smile again. I was like, you are hired. I want you to be my coach. So what did I do? I said, I'm going to just play with Maddie because I had gotten all into work. I'd gotten in that survival mode. So her sacred child spoke to me, but that sacred child is that part of you that is, we could call it the divine, this is like your potential that you came in with. That's how I want you to think about that. And then there's your divine self, the you that you're destined to become. But this is an open relationship. The divine self helps and supports the sacred child, and the sacred child has something to offer and share. Okay, when we do inner child work, here's what I'll say when we first meet the inner child. In fact, I want to meet your inner child. And just think about being that kid, that all you want to do is just be a kid. That's your number one job, right? And I don't know how old you think about yourself when you think about yourself being a kid, but just think about that. Maybe you're 4 or 5, maybe you're 9, I don't know. Maybe think of yourself as a young person. But when you think of yourself as a kid, think about that and be that. And I just want you to know that I see you, I'm interested in you, and you have not done anything wrong. First off, I want to just say you have not done anything wrong. I just want you to know that I want to help you. And I know it may be hard to believe I would want to help you, because a lot of times when grown-ups say they want to help you, that causes more problems. And that's not the situation here at all. In fact, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. If you don't want to be here, that's okay too. If you want to go play, I just want you to know that you're welcome. And anything that you need to share, anything that you want to share, we are completely interested. And wherever you're feeling that, however you're feeling that, as I say that, just be aware of it. So I just want to ask you, if I invite you into this place with us, would you like to join us? And just notice, yes or no. Now I want to invite you, adult self. When you think about that little kid, just because we had this conversation, we observed it, and there was me meeting you in this way, what did you notice in your body or your reaction or your thoughts? Type it into the chat bar. And I'll wait for you. Well, it happened just as I became present to you in a loving, accepting way. What happened? Breathe, breathe, breathe. And just type in relief, joyful, calm, love flowing warm, liveliness. Isn't that beautiful? So if someone says like, yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, just keep being present. I'm going to ask you as the adult right now, tell that kid what they've done right. And here's what I would notice. Here's what I know about 5-year-olds or whatever age you are. A kid will come to an adult and say, I just need attention. Like they just want to check in or they need a hug, right? They go like mom, nana, grandpa, dad, teacher. And you go, hey, what's up? And they go, hey, are we, look at my picture, which is nothing. You go, oh, yeah, I can tell you're doing work on that, right? Or, hey, good job. Or, hey, thank you for sharing, whatever. Or nothing. They just needed that connect, right? Just 30 seconds, a minute. That's all they need. But a kid will destroy an entire house to get that 1 minute. They'll start banging on you. They'll start tearing stuff up. I don't know. They get their 99-cent scissors and start cutting into expensive chairs. What do they do, right? We know that because that child knows it is their right to have their need met. But what do we do as adults? Not you, not yet, not now. We're running these other programs and that creates a woundedness, and then something happens, the kid has the belief and we train them, and then they form beliefs about who they are, and the whole cycle starts again, right? So that kid that is going, hey, what if? Hey, can we? Hey, I want to, I need to, I want to go play, I need help, I'm worried. What you did right was you were letting me know that you knew that I would take care of you. I see that now. Thank you for that. Thank you for not giving up. I'm just talking to your inner kid directly. That you remember that there's magic, that there's more to life than working and paying bills. You remember that. You're trying to help me remember in my relationships with my own kids who I really want to be, how I want to show up. Thank you for that. Whatever it is, say to that kid right now what they're doing right. And Godfrey's saying, yeah, I think my kid was subdued and numb. Yeah, that is a response. And just be present to that part of you that's numb. There's nothing else to do. Here's what you did right. Why? Because intention never fails. Hey, were you mad? Yeah, you're mad. Of course you're mad. It's right that you would be mad. So I'm just going to be here with you while you're mad. How many people have little kids and they just need to cry it out? And then you're like, okay, here's a drink of water. Okay, that's enough. Now let's wash our face. You good? Yeah, now let's go get something to eat. Just be there with them, right? But we forgot how to do that for ourselves. So my 3-year-old granddaughter's throwing a fit the other day. She didn't like something, and I started just going, oh, what's that upset about? Instead of going, stop whining, right? I never fight with her with what she's doing. I go, oh, are we whining? And she's like, stop it, Nana. And I said, oh, but I thought we were whining. I want to whine with you. That's great. Come on. No. She's like, stop it. I said, oh, okay, so I need words. Because I thought we were playing a whining game. Honey, whatever you need, I want you to have. I want you to sit next to me. Oh, okay, let's go. Right? I met it. I just need it. So if you're angry, just go, yeah, I'm angry. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to do everything in my power to stay angry until I no longer need to be angry. I'm afraid. I'm going to be afraid. I'm going to do everything in my power to stay afraid until I no longer need to be afraid. This is happening. Use your words. What is it you need? And tune into that. And so here's what you do. I could teach you a million processes, but right now, if it were in your power to, if that part said, I just need to be comforted, I just need someone to believe me, what would it take for you to comfort and believe that part of you? What would it take for you to encourage or acknowledge? What would it take for you to stand up and defend? I don't know. But you know who does know? Your beautiful, brilliant, divine self. And your conscious mind can't know. The conscious mind has been trained to respond and act a certain way. It's a binary system, okay? It's on or off, but your divine self knows. And here's the way you operate with your divine self. You just assume it's there. That's it. One, let's assume your divine self is there. Who are you to say it's not? It is. Until you have the experience of it, make it up. But your divine self knows, and there is a part of you that always knows, and your divine self is your eternal self. We could call it your higher self, your God self, we could call it angelic, your universal intelligence, whatever that is. But that part knows. So here's how I access that, okay? I have this belief that there's some things that we cannot know until we know, right? Like if you think back on a situation in your 20s, just like something what we've done in the call here, right? When you go through your experience, you created it, then you have the memory, so you've observed it, and then you re-experience it again. But you forget that you were the creator, okay? When you're older, you have that longer lens of time. We could actually turn it this way, because then you're in a greater state of awareness through your own regular life experiences, right? To where you start understanding, and you've done the work, and then you look back and go, man, I was just a kid. I was just trying to figure this out. All I wanted was love. All I was trying to do was make sense. So we have a new knowing based on this thing we didn't know at the time, right? And put your fingers up. We have a new knowing on a thing we didn't know at the time. Let's get these fingers up, okay? 2 hands. We have a new knowing, I'm saying it again, on the thing we didn't know before. And in between the two, let there only be love. Bring it together and drop. Want to do it again? There's where you are right now in your ordinary understanding. And there's this divine self that knows why you're here, why you're going through everything, knows what your purpose and your plan is, knows exactly what you need to learn, knows exactly what you're able to accomplish. And between these two, between knowing and not knowing, let there only be love. Bring them together fast and drop your hands. Big breath. I'm going to type it in the thing. Between knowing and not knowing, let there only be love. Love is a communication between the masculine, the divine masculine, and the divine feminine in creating anything. And I don't actually have time to go into all of that. But that masculine is that taking action out into the world, and the divine is the creator receptive. And love is the language between the two. And your divine self is the expression of these two. Perfectly, the creation perfectly expressed out in the world. You love that idea? Because that's who you really are. So we can go, hey, everything I'm supposed to do, and then the way I really want to be, right? I want to be able to receive all the good. I want to manifest, and I want to express. I want to have an impact out in the world. In between these two states, let there only be love. Love is the communication between these two aspects. Okay? Wow. So between where you are now and where you want to be, between how you know yourself and the way you truly want to know yourself as a divine self, not your idealized self, not that fake iconic self, but your true divine self, let there only be love. And bring them together. And this is physical anchoring. And then you could even, most of the people on the call here are familiar with the one command. We're just going to make a statement about that. I'm just going to throw it out there. So just follow along, roll your, close your eyes, roll your eyes up, and just make this statement. I don't know how I am fully living and expressing from my divine self as my divine self. I only know that between where I am now, eyes up, and who I know I truly am, let there only be love. As your eyes relax, as that expands out to an idea even greater, that serves more good in its fulfillment. Just like the oak tree, we can think about all the structures and the forms that maybe it's just to be wild and free and be shelter for the little animals, and it could be a force for creating oxygen and in the world and bringing forth beauty and nurturing and stabilizing. It could be a place of respite and encouragement, or it could be just completely brought into a whole new structure that doesn't even look like its original form. We only know that there's something even greater. There's an even greater good that is aligning to you now and is witnessing you now. And now just feel yourself coming back down into your body, bringing that new potential, that self. Yes, yes, yes. Bringing it all the way down, that potential, that love, that light, that state of being, into the wounded self, into your hyper idealized self, into the unresolved, isolated part of yourself. Just witness it and notice it. Into the fake, iconic self. Into your beautiful, sacred child. Into your incredible, divine self. And I don't know what's happening. I don't know if there's a dissolving and a re-evolving and flowing. I don't know if there's winding or unwinding. Just be the witness of this new creation. And now, bringing your attention back to your heart. What do you know? Because your heart holds the wisdom. When you think about your divine self, what do you know now that you didn't know before? And be present to that and tune in, and I'll wait. What image is coming up or what feeling in your body? Type it in for me. Let me know. Man, the energy. I'm just getting this. I gotta take my sweater off. I can't. Woo, woo. Y'all are hot. Standing. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm feeling your energy. What do you know now? And if you were living from your divine self, here's the steps. Here's what we've actually gone through. Yeah, Gail's saying a sense of being where I need to be and loving and being present to now. Yeah, because it's all now. So here's the secret. And I want to try and keep as close to the time as possible. You want to create what's called 3 vignettes, 3 little movies. You know, if you think about it, we had this movie that we played about our trauma, about our loss, about our betrayal, about being a goofy kid or being a foolish young person. I don't know, right? We had that little movie that we run. Well, check in, you know, we started with that, right? But that's kind of how we program ourselves. And that actually resides not only in the unconscious mind, we're actually training our beautiful reticulating activating system to look for experiences and people that match that inner vision, and things start manifesting and happening much faster for you. The other thing that happens is those little images and vignettes that we're creating. I got my arms, I'm waving. If we were in a live seminar, guys, I would practically look like I'm doing interpretive dance. Okay, Sandra's been in one of my live seminars, and so is Carol. They'll tell you it's true. Okay, but what happens in that vignette, not only is it programming, you know, like our unconscious mind, you know, it's like we're activating something in the frontal lobe, it's getting embedded into our reticular activating system, so we start finding that new match in for our reality. It actually goes all the way down into the DNA, and it is stored in what's called the morphogenic field. We've got to get a little science in. But what surrounds the DNA strand is this field of energy that tells the DNA to be DNA. And this morphogenic field of energy, those thoughts, these things that we've programmed in, are actually stored right down at the DNA level. And it starts shifting family programming, the ancestral beliefs. It starts literally changing everything. And not only for you, it starts changing those family patterns, and you start seeing shifts in your family because you've made this personal shift and you have these vignettes. People, you get detached from the drama of those old experiences, and the energy. I'm trying not to go too far, but the energy that, like, when you meet somebody, and let's say you're coming from, hey, everyone's going to screw me over anyway, so I just as well, you know, try to protect myself. You know, everybody that got attracted to that level of energy that you brought in with the positive intention to try to work this stuff out, we detach because our vibration has raised up. Okay, our vibration has raised. We are no longer in that same energetic level, and one of 2 things will happen. Whoever's in your life now will either rise up to meet you at this new level, and they change along the way. Like, I have story after story of people going, that person who was at my work was the biggest bitch ever, and they suddenly became my best friend, or that really difficult person became my greatest ally. They come up and they meet you, or they go away. And the right person, the right relationship comes in and meets you here. It is miraculous. But it starts with these vignettes. okay? And it helps to write them down because sometimes we forget, but not write them down so that we can remember to, like, you know, do it over and over and over a million times, but just so that we can notice when it happens. That's why it helps to have a coach where we go, oh my gosh, that's exactly what you commanded for. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what you said you wanted, that you were struggling with, and boom, it happened, right? So that you can start getting that feedback. So then when you notice you got what you wanted, you got to really take that moment to take it in and go, yeah, that was good. That's the God of creation. And we have that over in the um, uh, Google Drive, where it says, you know, we've seen that over and over in different religions, where it says God looked at his creation and said it was good. Yeah, so we want you to look, we, the royal we, want to look at that creation and go, yeah, it was good. I think it's me and my divine self and all the aspects of me creating all the aspects of you right now. So this is really the process that we went through. Okay. There is a Rumi poem. There's a story that I have over there, and it's called The Prayer Rug. And it's about daily practice. And here's the thing, no matter what you practice on a daily level, it is going to make change. I cannot recommend it enough, the one command as a daily practice. You know, just saying, hey, not only what is it I want to manifest or create, everybody gets hung up on that, but you can actually say, hey, who do I want to be today? You know, I told you Maddie's 14. Well, Maddie's being all 14 right now, and you know, her mom is being less than lovely and getting really frustrated and yelling and trying, you know, every negative, you know, everything that she can. And I caught myself the other day being kind of mean to Maddie, right? And then I had to apologize. I had to say, you know, Maddie, that was really crappy of me. I'm really sorry. I was frustrated, but here's what I really wanted you to know, right? But that's on me. And it's never right for me to talk to you the way I did. And for that, I'm truly sorry. And I did not add any but, any other, you did this, and that's why I did that. And this is what I was thinking. I just let that apology stand. So when I was talking to her mom, I said, you know, I don't like how we're treating Maddie. I know she's frustrating, but I want to be a better person. I think you do too. And I didn't try to give her parenting advice or anything else because I was terrible. It took me a long time. I got grandmother wisdom, got activated, right? I have the luxury of, you know, 30 years of therapy and all this training. But she didn't need a coach. She needed her mom. But I just said, you know, I want to be a better person. And I think you do too. So I spoke to her. So sometimes my command is, I don't know how I came to be confident or strong or prosperous. I don't know how I came to be awakened, right? I spend time with that. Then I'll create those 3 little vignettes on how I would know if I had it. Okay. So I want to encourage you to read it's called, I think it's The Prayer Rug. No, it's not. That's not the name of it. Um, it's, where is it? I'm going to jump over there. Look, I'm going to even show you how we do find it. Right here in the Google file. Yeah, Sandra, I'll go back over the vignettes. Vignettes are 3 little scenes. How would you know if you had what you wanted? One way you would know that you had what you wanted, like, right, if you were living in your divine self, would be when you woke up, when you had an idea to do something, you'd feel more confident and capable to do it. And so you would take faster action. Okay? That's one way you would know. Another way you would know is the world may, you know, when you go to the coffee shop or go to work or wherever you go every day, you would notice that people are smiling at you more. Okay, those are vignettes. And they're little movie scenes that you are creating in your unconscious mind. Okay, you're just imagining them. Okay, is this helpful? Do you guys like these? Look at the little videos. We've got the Desiderata, which I just love. I mentioned it in one of the emails. This was a big part of my personal practice, that I had the Desiderata up in my bathroom. And every morning when I would get up and have to wash my face and everything, and I would sit there, my first sit down in the morning, I would read through it. And then every day, one of these chapters popped out at me, and I would think about that chapter all day long. And I did that for 3 years. And so this is a big piece of my personal growth. But, I read the Essential Rumi, and there's different things. So what I have is some suggestions there on what you could do. All right. Well, it didn't show up, but you have it, Verena. You have the Google file. So we have that. And then, but just hey, if it's doing walks, if it's being, practicing stillness and really being aware, if you're doing breath work, whatever it is, commit to it. Don't try to do a whole bunch of different stuff. I want to really invite you to whatever it is you're doing, do with one clear intention just for a month, right? And notice how you feel at the end of the month. I love playing and trying different stuff, but just choosing one little piece and one little thing to work on every day has made a bigger difference. One piece I love that we did learn here is that let there only be love between knowing and not knowing, right? Let there only be love, and then bringing those together. So this is a big one that I do all the time. But pick one, and I just challenge you to work with that, okay? So we are a little bit over, but I want to get some feedback or questions right now, and I would just love to see it. And the reason I'm not throwing open the floor over here, it is just to kind of expedite for time. So let's see here. Who has any questions or feedback? Was this valuable? Did this make a difference? Did this bring some clarity to you today? Someone's saying this makes sense. Thank you. All right. Your rocking looks like aligning a pendulum. I know. I was like, all right. And Verena's saying I should be doing Choose Love more often. I love that work so much. If you are on Facebook, you can look up Choose Love Daily. We're there. So just one second. I actually had a text message come in. So all right, there we go. Felt like I missed a piece I was working on yesterday. Very good. And amalgamates a lot of the knowledge we've been receiving. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Oh, I'm grateful. Oh, and Godfrey discovered what the 5-year-old wants. And so that was frozen there. Thank you very much. Oh, I love you guys. You've got the Google link to access the stuff. The recording will be, it takes a couple hours for it to render, but I will make sure the recording's up by in the morning. And then that way you can download it and listen to it. Okay? So thank you so much for investing your time and your energy. Thank you so much for being, I love you guys. And just thank you for being the light in the corner of my world. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'm so blessed and to get to do this work and to get to do it with you. So until next time, my love, this is Kathryn Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and I witness your mastery. Bye-bye.